Mole Confidential, Season 4, Episode 5.
All right, we are back. Today we have myself, Piper, Sarah, and Extra. No Gizmo today. Good thing or bad thing? You decide.
Good thing.
So let's jump right into some of the questions we've had after Episode 4 aired. Episode 5, I'm sorry. One of the things was why there was no silicon in the quiz. And that was Boz's fault. So I've explained this before, and generally what happens, though, is I edit this thing on Thursdays, and I put it up on Friday. And I usually am editing it into the wee hours of the morning on Friday. And sometimes I get tired and things escape me. Now, for the quiz questions, the way I do it is I take the form that we send the players to take the actual quiz during the recordings. I copy that, the HTML from that, and I paste it into a document, and I run a little program I wrote that actually pulls the questions out, puts them in to a script form that animates and makes it look like it's coming off of a computer terminal. Every once in a while it glitches. There's a little bit of massaging to the data I have to do. And because Silicon was alphabetically the last, for some reason he got stripped off. Now it didn't matter in a sense, and the reason I didn't catch it is because in my head I knew he was eliminated, and I wasn't even thinking about, oh, he should be in here still. So I didn't even think of it. So it was completely my fault. I'll try to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But it was only related to that last one because it's the last question is always that, who is the mole? So at least it wasn't like something where it was a different player who wasn't eliminated and then you guys thought, oh, that player must be the mole. It was literally just a mistake on my little script that I wrote in my program, and he was the last one that got stripped off. Oops.
Oopsie.
But Piper, you have the next one.
The next question we got was for Challenge 10, and the person was querying whether only the mole knows their score. And in the first room, the room that Gizmo was in, he had to answer about the mole's points in a previous round. And basically, at the end of each round, Belbuzz, who's the presenter of the show, will tell the players how many the players got, how many points the mole gets. So it's open to everybody. So if they made good notes, in theory, they should be able to answer that question.
Yeah, so I think this person was thinking this is an obvious tip that Giz is the mole because only the mole would know those answers, and that's not the case. All players should know the answers. Is Giz the mole? Maybe. Is he not the mole? Maybe.
Who knows?
All right, so the next one was somebody was commenting that Challenge 9 was not fair. And we're going to show Challenge 9 here in a little bit, and maybe we'll touch on it, some things there. But from a standpoint of being fair, the players almost won that challenge. And there was definitely room for improvement during that challenge. Time allotted was plenty of time to solve it. The penalty that Laser John incurred didn't even matter. They were already about, I don't know if it was 10 or 11 seconds what it was, but they were already too slow. So the penalty didn't even hurt it. So they had time to do it. They just didn't get it done in time. Why? That's up for you to decide.
I just want to add on that, we always, like the three of us, me, Buzz, and Mario, we tested all the timings for everything. So we tried to make it as fair as possible.
All right. Last question was, what if the players have a tie on the score and they finish at the exact same time? What happens? Well, it's unlikely, but obviously we've had ties score-wise. So that means, players got 5 questions right, players got 4. Whoever scored the lowest, maybe somebody got 3 right, and there was like 2 people. When they submit the forms, the software timestamps it. And it's to 100th of a second or whatever. But if it would show the exact same time, what we would have decided is, because they come up on the screen, whichever one come up first would be the one we considered the fastest. If, by some miracle, they scored the same and they had the exact same time, whatever one showed up first, we would count as the first person. So, will that happen? You have to wait and see. But I find it very unlikely that it ever could. Okay, so here we are at Channel 9. Now, really quickly, I want to show you. If you see here, this looks like the old dial-up modem days. And the signs are just now starting to kind of download the maps that I made, the custom maps that showed, I am sorry, you have been eliminated. This was something that scared me. Now, I made this challenge. And I was really worried because what it is if you don't actually have these signs up, they don't actually download from the server. So you can see it's almost downloaded now, and boom, now we're done. So I was really worried on this challenge that if I didn't come up with a trick, once all the players put the map pieces in this chest and the solvers would start, they would start putting them up on the screen, but they wouldn't read them yet. And I was just like, that'll be very, very bad. So I needed a solution. So what I come up with, and the players never knew this, I was going to show them, but behind this challenge, hidden, I put copies of the signs, or the maps. And these are the exact same maps. They each have an ID number. All these ID numbers are the same ones that are used in the challenge. So while we teleport everybody here through the portal, while we're talking and explaining the challenge and getting all the players ready, those signs or those maps are already being drawn on the backside, and the players can't see them. That way, when it finally came time to get to the actual putting the map pieces up, they would come up immediately. So it was a little trick to solve it. But I enjoyed this challenge.
Yeah, I loved this challenge. Just having the maps, it was just something so different, and it was just really good. Very well done.
And what was funny too is like when you break the map pieces off, they kind of flutter around and they can get kind of lost and confusing. And you can rotate them, and you could actually put these signs down in different orders. They kind of started off with trying to say, sorry, you have been eliminated. But they would quickly learn that wouldn't work. So, they did a decent job. And like I said, they almost won it. But you can see how those maps are flying around.
And you could have, you have been eliminated, I am sorry. But that's not the phrase.
Yeah, so they did well, just not well enough. That's up for you guys to decide why. But the biggest thing really that had me scared was these map pieces and not being drawn. So, but my little trick ended up working beautifully, and the players had no issue. If they could have went back there and saw it, they would have known the answer, but the challenge was fenced off. All right, so this is Chow 10, Dunk the Fool, and Piper made this challenge. And Piper, you want to talk a little bit about this one?
It was an interesting challenge. It was a challenge for me to start with because underneath here there is a ton of redstone, and yeah, I think we were building the redstone up until the filming, I think, that day, which was interesting and nerve-wracking. But yeah, I mean, it didn't exactly go to plan, and we'll probably reveal more of that in the reunion episode. The players were okay doing this challenge. I can't really say. I don't really know what else to say about this challenge, to be honest. It didn't really go as planned, but yeah, we'll talk about that in the reunion.
Yeah, I mean, and Piper, what was funny is when she was working on this, she was building the structures, the dunk tank and all that. And then I think it was over here, I built a sample redstone circuit for her to kind of do the answers. And we'll go underneath here and let everybody see them. So here we are underneath, and this is the kind of the code map. This is a similar thing to that, but this is a hopper sequence where you put in the answers. They go into the chest and everything. If you do it right, it ignites the circuit here, which then comes over and pushes this. I think this one's actually already activated, but it pushes the redstone block over to power this circuit, and we actually the door up above here opens then, and also we used a plug-in for wireless redstone here, which then lets us send, in the case of this one, this is when Gizmo successfully did this room, it sent a wireless signal over to the pink room to open up a door so that that player, I believe that was Cody, wasn't it?
I think so.
So that he could then start on his part of the puzzle. And that's as far as we got. So we'll maybe show a little bit more of this on the reunion, or maybe even do a confidential after the reunion and try to wrap up any loose ends. That may be a better idea. So there was that circuit was basically duplicated by Piper for all of these rooms, as you could kind of see. And then, of course, we had the dunk tank.
Yeah. And the dunk tank was Mario doing the timings. So he was invisible. And I think it was every 2 minutes he released, and the fool dropped part way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of being able to have like invisible helpers and commands and command blocks and world edit and all that stuff. We can make a little bit of magic happen very simply instead of trying to do like a lot of crazy like coding of stuff.
Yeah.
So here is a sneak peek at a challenge in our next episode. What could it be? All right, so let's take a look and see if the mole had anything to say to Silicon. Silicon Sentry, I made it so. Looks like he was beamed down. Love the mole. So, if you guys didn't catch, Silicon's character looked like basically a Captain Kirk type character. I don't know if it's supposed to be Captain Kirk or if it's his own, kind of like himself in a Starfleet uniform. All right, so you guys voted after our fourth episode, and you were voting up until the fifth episode aired. And you guys, a majority of you think Silicon is the mole.
Ooh.
Problem with that is Silicon was eliminated. So you guys, as a group, majority, still on target. Now, we have a little something different today. We have your favorite part of the episode here, at least many of you's favorite part. But we're kind of missing somebody. But take it away, Piper.
The mole comment of the week.
All right. I'm really interested to hear Piper's fan voice. But our comment of the week comes from Miss Lexi. And she says,
Only 5 players remain. The mystery must be solved. Giving their heads some pains. I don't want to finish this rhyme. I don't have a voice, I'm sorry.
So there you guys have it. Our comment of the week. And that's basically a wrap here for Mole Confidential, Season 4, Episode 5. This coming Friday, our next episode, Episode 6, which gets us one step closer to what question, Extra?
Who is the mole?
So if you guys want to say goodbye, and the horsey just said goodbye, we will head out.
Bye.
Bye.